Good morning. I'm Hsu Patterson, and I'm your worship associate today. Our worship theme this month is embodying resilience. Throughout the month, we're exploring ways to cultivate and practice resilience, which is becoming more and more important in these increasingly difficult times. We're in an interesting period right now with the confluence of meaningful spiritual practices in the coming weeks across several major religious traditions. Today is MahaShivaratri, the Great Night of Shiva, one of the most spiritually significant Hindu festivals of the year. It's a time of honoring the deity Lord Shiva and his divine union with the goddess Parvati. Hindus around the world mark MahaShivaratri with fasting, chanting prayers, and meditation to reflect on virtues such as honesty, non-injury to others, charity and forgiveness, to overcome ignorance in life and in the world. This week, Muslims around the world will enter the holy month of Ramadan or Ramazan, honoring when Allah revealed the first verses of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. This is a sacred time of daily fasting as a practice of spiritual discipline with heightened attention to spiritual reflection, prayer, charity, community, and compassion for humanity. Also this week, Christians around the world will begin the 40-day season of Lent, a time of repentance, simplicity, and reflection. During Lent, Christians connect deeper to God through the practices of fasting or sacrifice, prayer, and almsgiving or charity, in preparation for the joyful celebration of Easter that commemorates the resurrection of Jesus. Are we seeing common threads between these different faith traditions? Fasting, prayer, charity, spiritual elevation and awakening, the human yearning for connection and compassion. Let us receive and honor the gifts of shared wisdom from these multicultural, multiracial, and multireligious traditions. May our time together this morning offer renewal to us all so that we may embody resilience and love for ourselves and out in the world. I share these words by Michelle LaGrave. We come to religious community from many paths and with diverse needs. If you have come here seeking comfort, may your pain be soothed. If you have come here looking for answers, may you find new questions. If you have come here seeking purpose, may your call be awakened. If you have come here hoping to build a new way, may the path open before you. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. Namaste. And salam alaikum. Welcome to this morning's service, the Way of Yoga, our honoring of MahaShivaratri, this great night of Shiva in the Hindu tradition. Now, this is a special immersive service that we offer each year to enter into and to be with the soundscapes, devotions, and wisdoms of this important religious tradition. I'm the Reverend Jeremiah Lal Shahbaz Kalendae, and I'm joined on the chancel this morning by many of our beloveds, Hsu Patterson, Director of Music, Sonder Choi, and our special guest musicians who we are delighted to have with us this morning, Rohan and Dani, and of course our beloved Ryan as our accompanist. We are all so glad to be with you this morning. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Santa Monica is a contemporary congregation with roots deep in the centuries-old traditions of Unitarian Universalism. This is our interactive welcome, which I always need your help with. So if you are bisexual, transgender, non-binary, lesbian, gay, intersex, asexual, queer, questioning, or an ally, where do you belong? You belong here. If you are Black, Indigenous, a person of color, or white, you belong here. Disabled or temporarily able-bodied, you belong here. Young, middle-aged, or seasoned or spicy, as we call some of our elders, you belong here. Neurodiverse or neurotypical, you belong here. Immigrant, refugee, or native born, you belong here. Atheist, agnostic, humanist, Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Wiccan, pagan, spiritual but not religious, a seeker, a wanderer, a lover of leaving, or none of the above. Where do you belong? You belong here. Now, if this is your first time joining us or you're still new to our congregation, we invite you to join us for our coffee hour after the service to get to know our community a little bit better. There also will be a visitor's table set up in the courtyard where you can learn more about the congregation and sign up for our weekly e-newsletter that comes out on Thursdays. Now, as we begin, we'd like to acknowledge that we gather upon the sacred lands near the life-giving waters and beneath the beautiful heavens of indigenous people. This is the traditional home of the Tongva, the Ventureno, the Fernandino, Tatvavium, and Chumash tribes. We remember the painful histories of these lands each week and continue our commitments to justice and sovereignty for indigenous people. Now, I light our flaming chalice this morning with the sacred sound that begins all Hindu rites and ceremonies, Om. We will return to it throughout the service to ground ourselves in the spacious field of its vibrations and blessings. It is written in the Shiva Gita, a Shaivite sacred text, all that is born already and that is going to be born in the future is Shiva. It is in that one alone that the vital air abides, and all is said to be Om. One who meditates on Om finds insight and is liberated. So Om consists of 3 letters, A, U, and M. So I want us to chant this together as we light our sacred flame and begin our opening to our service. So let's try it once. So it's not just Om, there's a in the beginning. So Om. So it's 3 times. Om. Now we will remain seated for our opening kirtan, Om Namo Bhagavate, and you may remain seated as we enter into a more meditative state and then have our covenant and hymn of praise.
Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya.
Or spirit as we recite our covenant in both English and Spanish. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la enseñanza de esta iglesia. Buscar la verdad es su sacramento y el servicio es la oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar el conocimiento en la libertad, servir a la humanidad en comunión. Así es como convenimos unos a otros.
Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Ten Have Place, and I'm the Director of Multi-Generational Religious Education here. And right now is when we have our young friends help us collect donations for the West Side Food Bank. So if you have brought a food donation with you, please raise your hand, and one of my friends will come pick it up for you. I see some folks in the back there and in the middle. And I also want to remind you that you can always also bring donations of pet food. We have a box to collect out in the foyer there. We want to make sure that we are caring for both our animal and human friends. So you're always welcome to bring donations of pet food as well. Here comes Teddy running with something. I am seeing some canned beans, canned tuna, cereal, wonderful donations to bring for our friends. And thank you all for helping our children engage in this act of service. It's very important for us to teach them that from a young age, everyone is welcome to participate in these acts of generosity and kindness that we share with our community. So I have another announcement to share as we finish getting together all of our food here, and everyone can come place it in the basket. So I want to make sure that everyone knows about the Dining for Dollars kickoff party on Saturday, February 21st, 6 to 9 p.m. in Forbes Hall, right behind me. And if you don't know, Dining for Dollars is an annual fundraiser / community building effort where our members host events, picnic on the beach, or a wine tasting at your house, or a baking lesson in Forbes Hall. All of these things that combine our international, global love for food with our love for community and getting to know each other better. So my event this year that I'm very excited about, I'm going to be doing a tarot tea party. I've been learning tarot cards this year. Oh, yes, yes. And so if you want to be able to come to that, hang out and have fun and drink some yummy tea and get a one-on-one reading from me, that's one of the events, but there are many others for whatever way that you like to get together with our friends in this community, raise a little money for our congregation, and just to me, most importantly, just to be with each other and get to know new people, because I know that whenever I get a chance to say more to our community members, hear more than just like, hi, bye, on a Sunday, whenever I get to hear people's personal stories and the experiences they've had, we have an amazing treasure trove of diverse and fascinating people in this community. So even if you don't have the extra money to give, but I mean, especially if you do, come to the fundraiser. But even if you don't, come bring yourself, because our people are our biggest treasure here. So again, that is Saturday, February 21st, 6 to 9 p.m. You'll get the chance to start bidding on those fundraiser items. So please do come. Now I'm going to make my way down to the steps for our Time for All Ages. Can we express our thanks again for these wonderful musicians? It's such a gift to... I would have happily sat there chanting for another hour. So today, with this wonderful music and some of the other things in our service, we're celebrating MahaShivaratri, which is a Hindu festival. I saw Sebastian and some other people reading some of the books we have in the corner. I'm learning more about Hinduism today. And it involves singing and dancing and chanting, which we're doing in the service. We're going to be doing some more dancing in RE as well, so I'm excited about that. But another thing that Karen mentioned is that one of the practices of this holiday in Hinduism can be fasting. And who is listening? Does anyone know what fasting is? What does that mean? What do you think, Sebastian?
It means that you lose a lot of weight.
You can. If you fast long enough, you probably will lose some weight. That's true. And you're right, there's lots of people who just use fasting as a way to lose some weight if they need to do that for their health. But another reason that people fast is for a spiritual reason. And so fasting can help you gain more focus and focus on spiritual things instead of food and stuff. What else do you think?
Some religions do fast.
That's right. And I was actually going to ask you a question because we're talking about how people can fast in Hinduism. Do you know there's two of the biggest religions in the world are about to start fasting as well. Can you guess which one of them is? Because we have Ramadan and Lent coming up. Do you know what those are related to? No pressure. It's okay. That's okay. We can review a little bit. So Ramadan, who knows what religion that's associated with? Islam. That's right. And then Lent is associated with? Yeah, we have some good listeners in here. I'm glad everyone is learning together. So on February 17th, our Muslim friends are going to begin fasting for Ramadan, which lasts until Eid on March 19th. And then on February 18th, many of our Christian friends will begin fasting for Lent, which lasts through till Easter. And there's different specific ways that all the various religions practice fasting. But a shared idea in a lot of them is just that it can give you a greater sense of spiritual focus and focusing on the most important things. And even if you're not a member of one of these religions, or if you're not doing this particular kind of fast, I think that we can all take on some kind of fast during this time. And I like to think of it as a fast for justice. Because that reminds me, all right. That reminds me of one of my favorite portions from Jewish scripture, which comes from the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah, he was sick of people only paying attention to like all the little tiny details in religion, right? Of what you're supposed to eat and how you're supposed to pray and how you decorate the temple, stuff like that. Because he said people were ignoring the bigger principles of things like kindness and justice. So he said his fast would be to loose the bonds of injustice, to let the oppressed go free, to share bread with the hungry, and bring the homeless poor into my house. And so I think that's something that we can all think about, even if we're not doing a sort of specific religious style of fast. Maybe we think about giving up one of our little treats for a month, whether that's, I don't know, what do you guys like for a treat? Do you guys like candy or cookies or anything like that?
I like only candy.
Only candy, yeah. You're candy and cookies. Well, then maybe you could pick just one of those, the candy or the cookies, to give up for a few weeks and take whatever couple dollars you would have spent on that and instead give that money to people who need their basic needs met, like the folks who use the West Side Food Bank and people who really need our kindness and our generosity. So I think that's something we can all think about. What's just one little treat that you can give up this month, and even if it only amounts to $5 extra, giving that to someone who is in need. And the great part always about a fast is that once you get to indulge again on Eid or Easter or the next day after MahaShivaratri, things taste even sweeter. And I think that we're also more mindful about how we consume and share the sweet things of life. So I'm ready to start dancing. So we're going to head off to the cottage, and you guys are going to have more fun here. But we'll sing our way out.
Let's sing our song of blessing. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you as you go on your way. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you as you go on your way.
So we have a few announcements this morning. As a courtesy, if you haven't already, we ask that you please silence your cell phones. It's appreciated. We are always honored to welcome visitors into our community. If you'd like to learn more about our faith and about life at UUSM, we invite you to join us for our in-person first Sunday visitor meetup, held after the first Sunday service each month. So our next gathering will be on the first Sunday in March in the Cottage, which is the green building across the courtyard. Bring your questions, your curiosity, and come get to know us. We would love to meet you. I would like to invite Maddie Van Beek to come up for a special Teen RE announcement.
Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing? I wanted to talk a little bit about an event we're having at the end of February. We're doing a little field trip to a midnight showing of Rocky Horror at the New Art Theater, which I think is super exciting. And we're also having a meeting next Sunday, like a Teen RE meeting to talk about the history of Rocky Horror, its cultural significance, and its relation to our UU values today. So you can come to both. You can come to just one. Bring friends if you'd like to. There is an electronic waiver for minors. It was included in the last weekly newsletter from Jessica, but you can also reach out to her for any information or talk to me after the service, albeit coffee hour. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maddie. Fourth announcement, the church offices will be closed tomorrow, Monday, February 16th, in observance of President's Day. And today, after service, the Peace and Social Justice Committee will meet under the shade structure at noon. As always, there are plenty of events and ways to connect here, including recurring meditation groups, book club, folk dancing, and more. So I invite you to check out the order of service, check out the weekly email, and also our uusm.org website to learn more. And now we are coming up on the time to greet your neighbor. And as you do, please do keep an ear out for Ryan's piano cues, which will gently invite us back into worship and into our music for the morning. So for now, we'll take a few minutes to say hello, to welcome people familiar and new.
Patideva Mahadeva Shiva Shambho Patideva Mahadeva Shiva Shambho Patideva Mahadeva Shiva Shambho Patideva Mahadeva Shiva Shambho Ek kar rakha Trishula ek damaru ek kar rakha Trishula ek damaru ek kar rakha Trishula ek damaru Patideva Mahadeva Shiva Shambho Patideva Mahadeva Anga Bagambar भस्म चढ़ाए अमर पिया पत पतिदेव महादेव शिव शंभो पतिदेव शिव शंभो एक कर राख त्रिशूल एक डमरू एक कर राख त्रिशूल एक डमरू पतिदेव शिव शंभो पतिदेव महादेव देव महादेव देव महादेव
Let us enter into moments for repose, centering, and spiritual renewal. We begin by connecting with our breath through an awareness of our inhalations and exhalations. Breathing in and then out, we are mindful of our bodies and their rootedness upon the earth as they extend toward the heavens. Breathing in and then out, we are aware of this beloved community in this sacred space where all of our lives intersect and intertwine. Breathing in and then out, We invite greater consciousness into our being and a peace that surpasses all of our understanding. May it be so. So just as Muslims pray 5 times a day and Jews pray 3 times a day, and there are many traditions around daily rites of connecting with the transcendent. One of the most common practices in the Hindu tradition is the recitation of the mantra that is called the Mother of the Vedas, the ancient Hindu holy text, the oldest holy text of all of the great world religions, the Gayatri Mantram. This is traditionally chanted 3 times a day, in the morning, noon, and in the evening. And I will offer it today, and I will invite you to offer an Om as the soundscape to hold the mantra as I chant it. It's kind of a gloomy day out, and I feel there's a heaviness, I think, in the air. And the great thing about Shivaratri is it's this time of great inertia when there's so much illusion and corruption in the world, and our own minds are in strictures. And then Shiva comes and he dances his great cosmic dance, the Tandava, and it casts away all of this, all of the inertial energy, all of the corruption, and makes room for the sacred to dwell within all again. So I'm thinking of that as we approach this evening's night of Shiva. And this mantra is also a mantra of penetrating through all of the worlds to encounter an inner light. One way that you might one way that I would translate the Sanskrit would be Om, the sacred sound of all existence. Through all of the modes of the impermanent world, we meditate upon the effulgent divine light within, which is shining like the sun. May it illuminate our beings. So this is the words that I might translate as Om, the sacred sound of all existence. Through all the modes of the impermanent world, we meditate on the effulgent divine light within, which is shining like the sun. May it illuminate our being. So as I chant the verses, this is the focus of the visualization, is to connect with Savitur, with the divine light within. So I invite you to hold an Om as I offer this mantra 3 times. So let us Om together. Om Bhurbuva Svaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayata. Om Bhurbuva Svaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayata. Om Bhurbuva Svaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayata. I will sound our singing bowl to begin and end time for silent meditation. Shiva is one of my favorite faces of divinity in the world's religions. You may be aware of this devotion as we celebrate his holiday of the Great Night in some way every year, an occasion with both cultural and cosmic significance for Hindus and those who follow the way of yoga. He's at the origin of the lineage to which I belong. He's the esteemed world renouncer and ascetic who teaches the means of union with the ultimate. The aim of all yogic paths is realization of infinite consciousness, infinite being, and infinite bliss. That is what yogic paths say is both at the heart of existence and is the backdrop to all of the fluctuations of life. Shiva is the one who teaches to shred our illusions, transcend the limitations of our egos, and illuminate this yogic path which posits that one is united with the ultimate at all times and in all places. It is only through our forgetting that we imagine this not to be the case. Now, I received Diksha, or initiation, into the Kali Kola, which is the family of the fierce black mother goddess Kali, over 15 years ago, after many years of study and practice within this tradition. Now, in our tradition, Shiva is the wild partner of Mother Kali. Both are renegades who live on the fringes of society, eschewing conformity and strict legalism of the other forms of other schools of Hinduism. They can be found in nature, deep in the jungles and atop the Himalayas, as well as in the cremation grounds, dwelling in street-side shrines and their towering ancient temples. The worship of these two deities in some form predates most of the other faces of divinity perceived by the world's great religions. Shiva is often depicted meditating in the holy mountains with his body covered in sacred ash, lines drawn across his forehead depicting his perception of the three worlds, and his third eye opened to spiritual awareness. The sacred Ganges River, Mother Ganga, flows from his hair, and a crescent moon decorates his long matted locks. He wears around his neck a cobra, a symbol of the ego, as a necklace to indicate that when tamed, the ego can be worn as ornamentation. He often holds his drum with which he keeps the sacred beat of the universe, which he plays intensely as he dances his great dance of destruction, the Tandava on MahaShivaratri, this evening. Likewise, he's usually depicted with a trident because its three spikes represent past, present, and future, because he is in possession of all time and transcends it in deep meditation. He wears animal skins, and his companion is the white bull Nandi, who represents divine strength, companionship, and devotion. Shiva is known for his love of animals and also the sacred ganja, a certain medicinal plant that has been used for longer than recorded history. He wears garlands of Rudraksha seed rosaries, which symbolize the tears that fall to the earth whenever he perceives the vast suffering of existence. His yoga, his way of union, is the vehicle by which suffering is brought to an end. As the source of all yoga, he teaches its many forms, such as dhyana, or liberation through meditation, jnana, or liberation through knowledge and wisdom, karma, or liberation through action, and others. Mahadeva, another of his names, which means supreme divinity, offers many paths to ascend the mountain to ultimate truth. Dhyana yoga is the means of spiritual ascent through the discipline of meditation. Do we have some meditators in our community? Yeah, quite a few of us, right? Not only do we hold time in our services for meditation each week, there are also opportunities right here to engage with this practice through our dedicated meditation circles. Now, any Shaivite Hindu will tell you that the practice originated thousands of years ago when Shiva taught it as a means of connecting with supreme divinity, that which is infinite consciousness, infinite being, and infinite bliss. He is depicted in his embodied form alone in the forest, away from civilization, because this too is a yogic instruction. One must disengage from the routines of mundane life and immersion in society if one is to be liberated from them and realize one's nature, which is united with all. Now, nature offers a broadening of perspective, an opportunity to be alone with the alone. Nature herself is said to be in a constant state of meditation. The still mountains and the flowing rivers are all meditating. And when we retreat to nature, we can find communion with this primordial meditative state of all existence. Paramahamsa Yogananda, the great saint who established the Lake Shrine in Pacific Palisades and the Self-Realization Fellowship here in Los Angeles, writes about the mechanics of this meditative path, this yoga of meditation, in his text, The Yoga of Jesus. There is a beautiful revelation of the way to that divine contact hidden in the biblical verses where John the Baptist describes himself. I am the one crying out in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord, as said the prophet Isaiah. Peace be upon them. When one's senses are engaged outwardly, he continues, one is engrossed in the busy mart of creation's interacting complexities of matter. Even when one's eyes are closed in prayer or in other concentrated thoughts, still one is in the domain of busyness. Does anyone relate to this? The real wilderness, where no mortal thoughts, restlessness, or human desires intrude, is in the transcendence of the sensory mind, the subconscious mind, and the superconscious mind, in the cosmic consciousness of spirit, the uncreated, trackless wilderness of infinite bliss. So on this path of meditation, one withdraws the senses, just as the yogi retreats into the wilderness, to loosen the bonds of the temporal and the finite, so as to open one's being to the expansiveness of the divine and the eternal. Now, another yoga, if meditation's not your thing, is that of jnana, or knowledge. We Unitarian Universalists love this one. But this isn't the kind of knowledge you can get a degree in. This is the knowledge of union with the infinite. On this path up the mountain, one engages in rigorous study and learns the way through the forests, around the obstacles, away from the dangerous creatures lurking there, and onto the direct path of self-realization. This is the path of the rigorous study of the ancient Vedas and Upanishads, of assimilating the teachings of one's guru, one's teacher, and of learning the way through the maze of the facts to the sacred wisdom that liberates. We find, for example, a shard of such wisdom in the Upanishads. There it is written, "Those who see all creatures in themselves and themselves in all creatures know no fear. Those who see all creatures in themselves and themselves in all creatures know no grief. How can the multiplicity of life delude the one who sees its unity? The sages inquire. Studying and meditating upon such sacred knowledge is another means by which truths are illuminated. Whenever we contemplate a sacred text, a sermon, a song, a poem with spiritual motivation and open to spiritual insight, we are practicing this form of jnana yoga. Now, for those for whom the path of meditation or the path of knowledge that leads to wisdom are inaccessible, another way is available around the mountain, and that is the yoga of karma. One need not engage in the rigorous spiritual exercises or studies to follow in this way. Often in the West, we think of karma as the law of cause and effect. Harmful actions return to one, as do the results of positive actions. In paganism, there's a law of three. Whatever you send out into the world will eventually come back to you threefold. So this is the basis of a system of morality. But karma yoga is a practice of many Unitarian Universalists. In fact, it may be the most common form of yoga practiced by those drawn to our liberal and multifaceted faith. It's deeper than simply doing good and refraining from harm in all of our actions. In Hindu cosmologies, karma is the force that actually keeps us encumbered in temporal realities, in the everydayness of life, in our limited awarenesses. The good results and the negative results keep us ensconced in the mundane, and they condition us to be attracted to the rewards of our good efforts and to avoid the negative results of our negative actions. The yogic path, though, like many schools of Buddhism, says that our spiritual practice should rise above even the forces of attraction and aversion that keep these cycles of karma moving and give rise to our ever-fluctuating states of pleasures and pains. The only way beyond the pleasures and pains in this school of thought is the non-dual way through a practice of non-attachment and non-aversion. Well, how exactly the hell does one do that? In this tradition, it's taught that we avoid the encumbering powers of karma, both the good kind and the negative kind, when we act from a place of selflessness. If we do good without the expectation or desire for a reward, with no secret motivations or agendas, and then keep doing good, and then keep doing good, we rise above the attachment to the positive results of doing good. We effectively stop generating karma and are no longer attracted to the rewards or avoiding the negative consequences. As humanism teaches, one does good simply for the sake of doing good. That's karma yoga. The third path by which one may scale the mountain of illumination. Now, lastly, there is the way of yoga that is perhaps least common in Unitarian Universalism, at least in its culturally contextualized expressions. But it's perhaps the dominant form of yoga in India, the way of bhakti yoga, or the path of loving devotion. As we name liberating love as the center of our faith as Unitarian Universalists, It would be wise to consider this path of devotion and the insights gleaned from those who have followed in this way in the Hindu tradition for a millennia. I think a lot of us struggle with exploring this bhakti yoga path because of some of the messed up theology of Christianity, which conflates love with punishment. These ideas aren't present in the bhakti traditions of Hinduism. In these schools of self-realization, love is the path of ease and joy. One falls in love with the divine beloved, just as one does with their mortal beloved. Even one's own lover is an expression of that divine lover in the bhakti path. Sri Ramana Maharshi, whose teachings we explored last week a little bit about the nature of the heart, was not only a saint devoted to Shiva, but was even considered to be an incarnation of the divine, as many saints are in this tradition. And while he was also a follower of Shiva, his writings were universal in their scope and application. He summarized the teachings of this tradition as follows. Love is the actual form of God. Love is the real form of the self. That is pure bliss. Love is the nature of the self. May it be so, now and always. Amen, and blessed be.
Your offering today goes to support the work of multiple groups in the church, including the Green Living Committee, the Women Plus community, Lunches for Bunches, Youth RE, and many others. In addition, half of our Sunday offering every month goes to a community organization that supports our UU values in the wider world. This month's offering goes to the Equal Justice Initiative, which works to end mass incarceration and excessive punishment in the United States, challenge racial and economic injustice, and protect basic human rights for the most vulnerable people in American society. We invite you to contribute in whatever way feels right for you. Ways to give are displayed on the slide behind me. All the ways of receiving support are gratefully accepted. Cash or checks can be placed in the offertory bags that will be passed around shortly. Thank you for all that you give monetarily and also through your time and care at church and beyond. The ushers are invited to come forward. Your offering will now be gratefully received.
शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन मङ्गलचरणा त्रिलोचना मङ्गलचरणा त्रिलोचना पिनाकपाणि पार्वती रमणा पिनाकपाणि पार्वती रमणा शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन भवभयहरणा सनातना भवभयहरणा सनातना पार्थिपुरीश्वर पतित पावना पार्थिपुरीश्वर पतित पावना पार्थिपुरीश्वर पतित पावना शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन मङ्गलचरणा त्रिलोचना मङ्गलचरणा त्रिलोचना पिनाकपाणि पार्वती रमणा पिनाकपाणि पार्वती रमणा शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन भवभयहरणा सनातना भवभयहरणा सनातना पार्थिपुरीश्वर पतित पावना पार्थिपुरीश्वर पतित पावना शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन शम्भो महादेव मल्लिकार्जुन
We will remain seated for our closing call and response.
Yeah.
The translation is, I reverently bow to the Lord Shiva, who has the most excellent of snakes as his garland.
All right, we'll do this one with the pronunciation first, so that way it's not so many multitasking things. So repeat after me. Nagendraharaya, Nagendraharaya, Trilochanaya, Trilochanaya, Bhasmangaragaya, Bhasmangaragaya, Maheshwaraya, Maheshwaraya, Nityaya Shuddhaya, Nityaya Shuddhaya, Digambaraya, Digambaraya, Tasmai Nakaraya, Tasmai Nakaraya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. So good. Nagendraharaya Trilochanaya, Nagendraharaya Trilochanaya, Nagendraharaya Trilochanaya, Nagendraharaya Trilochanaya, Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya, Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya, Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya, Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya, शुद्धाय दिगंबराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय. Very nice.
I close with this mantra, and we're all going to have to Om again. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. From untruth, lead us to the truth. From all that is confusion, lead us to the light. From all that is death, may we discover the eternal. Om, may serenity pervade all of the worlds. May you go forth into this day and be blessed, and may you be a blessing. Amen.